All right, guys, welcome to the call tonight. I wanted to share that video to give you a quick synopsis of the company that you're looking at, but I'm super excited to be joining you. My name is Jason Harris. For those of you that have not had the opportunity to meet yet, I'm in the Port Neches area, live about 100 miles outside of Houston. I know most of you have not heard about the big metropolis of Port Neches, but it's how about 13,000. And with this opportunity, with this company, my beautiful wife that's pictured here, we've been able to build a business that not only spans throughout the United States, but also outside of the United States. And it's been, honestly, it was an answer to a prayer I didn't know I was praying. I was a small business owner that were successful, financially successful. I was a great financial provider for my family. I was not a very present dad. I was working all the time, not always working in my business, but even when I came home, we had a big lawn and landscape service. I was also coming home and still doing all the estimates and invoices and working in the business and on it. And my biggest pain point was, how do I stop? How am I ever going to stop and maintain standard of living? And that's what this company has given me the opportunity to get my honestly my time independence back, to create some financial independence, to really live life on my terms. And this was actually a picture of me and my wife in Iceland with this company. It's been an amazing ride, and we're going to talk about a couple things today. One of the things we're going to talk about is kind of the opportunity slash problem that's in the marketplace right now, the solution, the company, and the business model. And so one of the things that, like I said, one of the it's honestly the opportunity is that the world's aging. We're all aging. There's 8 billion people out there, and guess what? We're all aging. We're all getting older, and none of us want to get ugly when we do it, right? Like we all want to age younger, longer. And there used to be this old paradigm shift that aging's inevitable, right? And there's nothing we can do about it. We know through science and technology and innovation, right, that there's a way that we can change the way our genes express themselves back to a more youthful state. And when we think about that, it's kind of like that lifespan versus youth span, right? Like we all have seen the hyperactive 80-year-old with his hair on fire, like still tearing things up, and then the bedridden 80-year-old. They're both 80. Now, how you age is the main thing, right? Like we want to age younger, longer. We want to be energetic. Or you can even look at identical twins. If one lived a bad lifestyle, smoked, and made some bad choices, and the other had a more clean lifestyle, they're going to age completely differently. Even on their skin, they're going to look completely differently as they get older, right? So we're all looking to, like I said, it's that lifespan versus youth span. That's what we're looking for. But honestly, every time we go out, we're getting attacked constantly by free radicals, right? Free radicals is kind of that first culprit that kind of starts to retard the genes in the cells, whether it's through UV rays, pollution, even exercises causes free radical damage. And I love this example of the apple because if you bust open an apple and you don't do anything about it, it starts to oxidize. Right now, if you put lemon juice, which is an antioxidant, on part of that apple, it won't. So what we're looking at is kind of how we're how we're aging from the inside out. That's really what we're looking at. Now, we all know to combat free radical damage and to combat some of these things, we need to supplement. And that's why, honestly, and I believe post COVID, one of the biggest issues was most people want to stay out of the doctors. I don't know about you guys. I want to live a younger, healthier life. I'm 49. I feel like I'm in the best shape of my life right now, but I want to give my body what it needs so it can perform like it should. Now, I'm no dummy. I see the way they manipulate and manufacture our food, so I know I'm one of these 75%. I know I need to supplement, but also that lies the problem. Like I was at the store today, I looked at the supplement aisle and I almost went blind, right? Like there's whole stores committed to supplements. So you look at it, it's like, okay, what do I even take? Or even if you're like, okay, I need B12, there's shelves of B12s. So it's like, okay, if I figure out what I need, how do I even know it's working? Right therein lies the problem. Now let's go into the solution. Right now we're all aging, we're all aging. So how are we going to do it? Now, have you ever thought about the paradigm, right? How 15 seconds could literally change your life. Now, most people are like, what are you talking about? How can 15 seconds change my life? Well, it's the ability to start being able to provide and gather information and data to provide measurement, right? Now, the new term out there is biohacking, right? Biohacking involves someone making incremental choices and changes to their body, their diet, their lifestyle, right, to improve their health and well-being. We're all looking at it. And we look at so many areas, right? Whether it's cold plunging or saunas or like however you can do like hydrogen water, right? Like all this stuff to help us go. And if you're looking at a way to biohack your health, what do you need? You need to be able to provide measurement, right? And if you can't measure it, right, how can you improve it? Because you don't know. And that was always my problem. I'm a CrossFit coach. That's one of the things I do in my spare time. I've taken supplements for years. I never knew, like, okay, how do I know if this is actually working if I can't measure it? Now, in my physical state, whether it's some of my lifts or some of my athletic performance, it's easy to see if I'm getting better because I measure it. I know my lifts, I know my times, I know these things. Okay, how do you do that in your supplementation? And again, Thomas Kelvin was famous for saying, what is not measured cannot be improved. So vice versa, what can be improved, right? And that's where we're going tonight. So think about a platform that provides truly intelligent wellness, and it'll go in also beauty. So truly intelligent beauty and wellness, like imagine being able to see exactly like how your body is doing from the inside out, and then having the power to do something about it, right? Again, we've been scanning people for years, and it's like it's an eye-opening experience for people, right? To be able to think about restoring that nutritional bank account, right? To be able to measure. And also, we're the only supplement company in the world. There's 20 or over 1,600 brands out there. And honestly, we're the only guys that can put a true performance guarantee on the product. Now, I love this quote by our chief scientific officer. We use scientific and quantifiable research in our proprietary technology, innovation, and products to support the difference demonstrated in you. Like we can prove what we say. Like the way we go about and even source the products or select the actual ingredients in it to see exactly, okay, not only, for example, we have a great product that's based around the reishi mushroom. Okay, it's not just, okay, here's a reishi mushroom. Let's throw it in because it's great for your immune system. It's a great cancer combatant, right? Like it's a phenomenal product. But you just don't grind it up and throw it in there. No, Nu Skin kept going and going and say, okay, what part of the mushroom? And they actually patented a cracked spore technology to get to the specific spore of the mushroom that has the greatest effect on the body, right? Like that's what I'm talking about when I go into this quote right there. Now, if you think about the importance of measurement, it creates a massive business opportunity when you really think about it, because the importance of measurement creating markets. Think about it. Before the 70s, no one ever tested cholesterol. Now it's a $20 billion statin market. Have you ever thought about that? Right? The foundation of behavior modification is measurement. So again, as you see at the bottom, that's our S3 scanner. We've been scanning people. I've been a part of this company now for 15 years. We've been scanning people for about 15 years. And when my boys were young, it was a behavior modification tool. They didn't really care about what that number meant. They wanted to beat their brothers, right? They saw a score and they were like, okay, I want to beat my brother. So when they were looking for a snack, instead of grabbing a bag of chips, they grabbed cherries or fruit or blueberries or something that would help to improve their score. It was a behavior modification tool because we could provide the measurement. So think about that as we age and what kind of opportunity that can give you. Now, when you look at globally, it's a $300 billion supplement market. Here in the United States alone, it's 60 billion. And when you really think about that, where it's coming from is, again, I think post-COVID, people want to live a healthier lifestyle. Again, they don't want to be put on some, drug, some pharmaceutical drug to have that we all know it kind of starts like one drug kind of solves one problem, doesn't really solve it. It tamps it down and manages it, and then it starts another. and then you're on another one. I was talking to a guy the other day, he's on 9 different scripts. And it started with type 2 diabetes and it kind of went into blood pressure, then it went into this, and he's on all this crap. Right now, if you look at global wellness, and this is part of the opportunity, it's already a $6.8 trillion industry looking to grow to 9 trillion by 2028. That's 3 years. It's going to grow over $2 trillion globally. Now think about that. Now, again, if you're spending your hard-earned money on something, you deserve to know, right? You deserve to know if it's actually working. And that's one thing that we can provide. Now, one thing I love about it is this is what I saw from the business side. No matter if someone's interested in health or beauty, I can help them. I can serve them. I can fill their need. Some people, I think aging's a double-edged sword, right? Because look, I don't care how great you look. If you don't have your health and can't get out of bed, who cares? Right? Vice versa. If you feel great, but every time you look in the mirror, you're kind of like, right? Like it affects us. We want to age younger longer, period. And one of the things I love about it, we do about 2 billion a year annually. I'll talk about that a little more, but we're almost equally yoked between the difference between our beauty side, our aesthetic side, and our wellness side. It's almost 50-50 as far as our sales. And that's what's wonderful. Now, when we're talking about this Prism opportunity that we have in front of us, this is kind of the evolution of it, right? What's amazing, it came like literally our first scanner was half the size of a ping pong table. They got it down to that first version there on the left, which was, I mean, if you had to use it, it had to be 72 degrees. Like this thing was a mess to start, but it didn't matter because we wanted to be the only company, again, that could provide measurement. And now it's getting down to literally the size less than a hockey puck that people will now be able to purchase. Before this new device, people had to lease it, so it was always an accessibility issue. Now think about the wearable market. I want you to really think in your head right now, if you're looking at this from a business perspective, how many of your friends, or tomorrow at work, I want you to look around and see how many people are wearing a device, an Apple Watch, a Whoop Band, a Fitbit, an Aurora Ring, whatever that is. Really look and ask yourself, what if I had the opportunity to monetize that wearable? Right? Because all those wearables, yes, they can provide some type of biometric, but there's no solution. They can say, oh, your sleep was really bad. Okay, how do I fix it? They don't have solutions. That's where we're different. Now, here's the main difference why we have a competitive advantage over everybody. We've well scanned over 15 million unique scans. We have over 26 million scans worldwide. We have 20 years of worldwide data that no one else has. That is literally the backbone that we were able to use to then add in machine learning, AI, all of this to create this Prism device that you see here that will be the new purchasable device. Anybody can purchase it and it'll be a global launch. But no one has the data. We all know data is the new gold, right? Everyone's looking for data. We have all of it and it's proprietary to us. And that's what gives us a unique advantage. The other thing is how we can help to reset genes back to their youthful state. So one of the ways we go differently, and a lot of it, especially under our ageLOC brand, that is a multi-billion-dollar brand on its own, is that we can take raw natural ingredients, and if we're trying to reset specific genes. So this was a clinical they did when they were looking to reset the genes that affect 3 main areas as we age that everyone complains about. Everyone. Energy, stamina levels, mental acuteness, libido. Right? Everyone complains about those 3. And these are those genes that are most affect those 3 areas. So as you see, it's kind of a youth gene expression map, and then an old one in the middle. And then by putting our ingredients, right, it's 3 natural ingredients, but that the correct part of a cordyceps mushroom, of ginseng, of pomegranate, we can show how we can almost completely reset those genes so they're functioning like they should. Like, remember how you felt when you're 18, 19 years old? You could go all day, you're like, woo, and then you slept like a freaking rock, right? That's where we want to live, right? You had a libido that wouldn't stop, like all those good things. Your mind was sharp. That's what we're able to do, reset the genes. And that's another proprietary thing that sets us apart. Now, let's talk about the company. Quick bullet points about the company. We are a 41-year-old company. This is our 41st year in business. We do well over we do average about 2 billion a year in sales. We've actually done over $1 billion for over 21 years. We're kind of a unicorn in the industry, honestly. Now, out of 65 plus thousand companies since the 50s that have went into the space of direct sales, network marketing, affiliate marketing, whatever you want to call it, right? There's been basically 0.2%, 0.02%, I'm sorry, that have the track record that we have. Now, there's less than 10 out of 65 plus thousand. That's why I joined the company. I don't know about you, but I was at a point with this company when I got approached where I had 3 magnificent failures in this industry. I knew the business model was valid. They teach this business model in Harvard Business School, for crying out loud. I knew it was valid, but I naively went for those great ground floor opportunities that were not proven. I didn't understand that at the time that I'm putting all my eggs into an unproven company, unproven compensation plan. And sadly, most of them failed, just like a lot of traditional businesses. But when we're a global company, we are operating over 45 markets around the world. Again, we're constantly innovating into our research and development, and we're publicly traded. We are a transparent company. It's massive. That transparency is huge. And again, we paid over 20 billion in commissions and counting, right? So this is what I wanted. If I was going to stake my flag somewhere, I wanted to stake it with a rock solid company that I knew that I could build a business that would pay me the rest of my life, and I could literally will it to my kids. And it is a willable asset because my original sponsor, she was a phenomenal lady, good friend of ours, PhD nutritionist that unexpectedly died in her mid-50s. Her daughter inherited a 5-figure-a-month business. Like, it was amazing. So I've watched this happen. And that's what I wanted. I wanted to build something that lasted longer than myself. Let's talk about the business model real quick. At the end of the day, it's kind of double-edged. We're customer obsessed and leadership driven. I've never seen a compensation plan paid out like Nu Skin because they don't cap leadership. If you're a true leader and want to build something big, they actually put extra carrots at the back end to want you to keep building and keep motivating. But customers are amazing. And that's what we're building, a global distribution network that product flows through. That's all we're doing. Now think about a micro franchise. This is what I love about this business. This is what I was looking for. I didn't have time to recreate the wheel. My typical day when I started was 12 to 14 hours. I was exhausted. But again, that was my pain point. How do I ever stop? Right? How do I stop what I'm doing and maintain standard of living? And so now it's even better because back 15 years ago, we didn't have this kind of technology. But now if you look at just this Prism AI cloud platform that we're going to have to where it's daily customer engagement, AI innovation, that data-driven engine I was telling you about that no one else has. So whether you're talking about the tools, the dashboards, recommendations that the app and everything is doing for me to my customers as they scan themselves, to say, okay, based on your personal biometrics, your background, your demographics, your score, your unique score, these products are going to work best for you depending on what you're trying to combat, right? As it comes to aging. And then global support development, like it's basically a business in a box, right? But you don't have to spend tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of dollars like multiple franchises, right? Like you can get started for literally nothing. Because when you think about the compensation, don't you want to build something where you have money working for you instead of you working for the money? And that's where it kind of gets to this. This was me. My first roundabout, I think we're all basically start on the left-hand side. I was an employee for AT&T, and I got really tired of AT&T dictating my standard of living by what they're willing to pay me. And so I had started my first small business, and I started in 2002, built it big enough to where as AT&T was doing another layoff in 2008, I was able to leave them. Now, most people would think, you're crazy. Remember 2008? Not the most stable year, right? 2008, 2009. I'm leaving that safe, secure job to go out self-employed fully, right? In the midst of a recession. But I chose not to participate in the recession. right? Like, so I'd built this business and we were scaling because, grass never stops growing in Southeast Texas. So I'd went down to self-employed and now I owned a job. I literally owned a job. I was like, what the heck? How do I fix this? How do I escape? How do I stop? I knew I needed to own a system to leverage the efforts that leverage systems, to leverage people, to leverage technology, to leverage all of that, right? So a system equaled money, leverage equaled money, right? And then ultimately you want to get to where that money works for you. I wish I learned this in school. They should be teaching this in school. I did everything I could with my three boys to teach them this as they were growing up. And you should see where their mindsets are today as young 20s. And when you really think about, we call it the power of three, but it's like customers plus your average affiliates plus your leadership equals success, right? It's just equal. It's just the simplicity is what we're really looking for, right? It's that three-legged stool. You don't want to have a stool with only two legs, you'll fall over, right? You want to have that three-legged stool where you can really grow. And when you think about how we pay out on five different ways. So some people join the company and they just want to do the typical affiliate marketing, and that's great. There's great retail margins, there's selling bonuses as well as referring bonuses to where you literally can get paid up to 4 to 20% as an affiliate, just as an affiliate from day one. And then if I had a friend, say my friend Vanessa wanted to join and she also wanted to make some money and any of her direct customer sales volume, I could make upwards of 4 to 24% of an override on that. But ultimately, I wanted to build leadership. And that's what I was saying earlier, that even if you hit the very top of our compensation plan, Nu Skin, as they understand that there are the 1 and 5 and 10 percenters. How do you engage them? How do you keep them going? How do you make them want to keep moving forward and not just sit back, not cap them? And they actually put in ultra incentives where you can get paid double or triple as you hit the top of our comp plan. How crazy is that? But that's where we have the leadership that we've had for decades. And I think the greatest opportunity is this next 5-year window. And that's where we're going to finish up talking about timing. When you think about that first mover advantage, when we talk about that new Prism device, that new scanning device, it's going to be a purchasable device to the masses. And we're going to talk about new market openings also. But we're really at this first little part of those little innovators, right? Those early adopters. And I remember, I want you to really think back on this Sunday night. Has there been, I'm 49, have there been times in your life, right, where you thought back, it's like, man, if I would have took action then, my financial life would be completely different. My professional life would be completely different. I know I can. I can think of a couple. And we're in one of those times. Now, when you think about this Prism launch by itself, we're in this early part, right? They're here in Q3, they're going to have a couple hundred liters. We're going to Q4, a couple thousand, and then we'll go into more of our global launch channel as we really kick this thing off next year in 2026 and as it goes out, right? So again, I want you to think about any other wearable that you're familiar with. If you had the opportunity at this early access point to start so you can monetize the launch. Again, I think about Apple when they launched the first iPod in 2001. They were a $5 billion company. By 2007, 6 years later, they were a $24.5 billion company because they disrupted an industry. That's what we're about to do to wellness and beauty. It's crazy where we're going. Let's just talk quick math, right? Think about if you had 50 of these prisms in your network of people and they each had 10 subscriptions on them at $100 a piece. Now I can tell you that it's going to be more than that, right? Because like if you have one family that they're all on some different products that are really helping them that they can measure the results, yeah, it's going to be more than $100. But we want to very, very like shoot low and promise high, right? Like it's one of those things where we rather, kind of give you the basic, the bare minimum. But when you look at this, it's that equaled about $2,500 a month of leveraged income at our lowest percentage we pay out, 5%. Now I want you to think about that because I used to invest in commercial real estate. We still do. We used to invest in commercial real estate because that was our out. That was our residual rental property. I was thinking the other day when I was looking at these numbers, How many millions of dollars worth of real estate I would have to own to clear 2,500 a month of leveraged recurring income, right? And then again, let's just pull this 5 years out. What if it took you 5 years to get 50 at 100 subscriptions on 100 apiece? A $25,000 leveraged income. Now think about that as you think about how the cost of living on an average of 5%, right? It doubles every 14 and a half years. That means every 30 years, it's going to quadruple. I'm 49. I know I have at least another 30 years, if not more. So am I creating an asset that's going to pay me long term that I can keep up with those type of uncertainties? And again, we're about to launch India. This is a whole nother juggernaut. Now that Prism device will be going in as we open, but India is the largest country in the world. There's over 1.4 billion people in India, and we're getting to a point, excuse me, we're getting to a point where, I mean, their middle class is bigger than America. It's a massive country. And again, all these things are converging. That's why I'm saying this next 5 year window is going to be magical. India is slated to be the third largest economy in the world by 2030. And as we open, and guess what? We're opening with that Prism device that we can measure. And 70% of their direct sales market is wellness. Like this can't be like any better. But I really want you to think about where you are because again, as you get started, you can start today for free. There's nothing, there's no cost, there's no minimums or maximums how you have to get started, but you can get your account going, get with the person that got you on this. And then again, we want you to start your 90-day transformation. We want you to be a product of the product. We want you to know what you're talking about. It's hard to be an evangelist about something you don't believe in or you never tried, right? I mean, that's just basic psychology. But again, we want to serve you in a way, maybe you're only interested in getting your health back, getting control on your health or getting control over your skin. I mean, how many people, battle with acne? We have the best stuff in the world, right? That could provide that. So no matter if you're interested in the beauty side, the wellness side, we literally have the number one beauty selling devices in the world. Like, I mean, if you're watching this, you have acne, your face is really mad at you that you don't have our LumiSpa, right? Like we have a solution. So no matter, but whatever your hot button is, we can help to do that. And that's what's amazing. And then also we have multiple live meetings going on throughout the country. Here's just a few of the next ones. We'll be in Houston on the 30th and then New York on the 14th of next month. We have multiple other May dates that are coming up. So stay tuned. Plus we do these calls. We do about 8 or 9 of these a week that are live. I don't remember the exact number, but use these to help build your business. But I'm telling you guys, where we're at and where we're going with the company, I think this next 5 years, Nu Skin's going to see the biggest growth spurt that they've seen yet in their 40-year history. The question is, are you going to be a part of it, or are you, and be a part of that story, or are you going to be telling the story? I could tell a lot of stories about opportunities I missed in the past. I'm going to be a part of this one, and we're inviting you to do it with us. So please get back with the person that got you on this call. Thank you for your time tonight. We'll be here at the same time tomorrow at 2 p.m. Central and at 7 p.m. Central. There'll be some different speakers. You have a little different perspective about the business, but thank you for your time tonight. Take care, guys. God bless. We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.